Hey everybody, it's the 13th Wolfman. You know what today is? Well, today is that day. So back in May, for the people that are watching this, Vinegar Syndrome had their sale. They're halfway to Black Friday sale, meaning that they're having a sale in May. It's halfway to Black Friday. There. Pretty much self-explanatory. I got into the sale like the minute that the site opened up, because they closed down their site to get everything ready. And then on the, at 12:01 Eastern Time, which is 9:01 Western Time, because I'm on the West Coast, the site opens up. So I'm like, okay, well, I got to be up there at 9:01 to make sure that I get a few things that they had a couple of extra copies of, and I went upstairs, got on the computer, jumped on there, refreshed the browser a few times, and boom, I'm in. First thing I do is I dash right over and get Vice Academy 1 through 3. Put it in my cart. Next thing I know, I'm trying to get I was trying to get copies of everything that had like low numbers, like under 500. Make sure I didn't lose out on getting any of those. So I went over and I got Madman. Threw it in my cart. Then I threw 8 more titles into my cart. And when I went to check out, it took me like 20 minutes to do all the shopping. When I went to check out, Vice Academy 1 through 3 was no longer available. And I'm like, just a second. I threw this in my cart. It should be available, right? It should be mine. It's not the way it works at VS. But whatever, So since that is not available, I went back, I did a little bit more shopping, grabbed another title, went to check out. As I went to check out, I had the same problem. Now Madman was not available. They'd sold out. Again, I'm like, okay, whatever, Went back, did a little more shopping, found another title, throw on there. I'm like, I pray that someday that Vice Academy would be nice, but I really was hoping that someday that Mad Men will come back in print. I don't know if it will, but according to what I found out after the sale, it should at some point. Okay, cool. So I made my order, and I'm like, okay, well, now it's just a matter of waiting. That was May 22nd at 9-something p.m. my time, which would be May 23rd, 12-something their time. And I'm like, okay. Like I said, it's just a waiting thing. I even paid priority mail, just to make sure. And here we go. A month later, because I finally got the order on June 24th. Now, yeah, you could say that, they closed the site down they didn't start putting the orders out until like the 26th of May. So, not really a month, but close enough, that's semantics, But here it is. Here are the 10 titles that I ordered. And, we're going to go in, I guess, this order. Why not? We'll start with this one. So, this video is going to be a little long, everyone. So, a little while back, I ordered the Corpse Grinders, which is a Ted V. Michaels film. And on that, they talked to Ted V. Michaels, and he's talking about, his previous movies, and what is probably one of his most famous movies was The Doll Squad. And I'm like, okay. I need to see who has the Doll Squad. Because when I go on Vinegar Syndrome, I don't look at all the releases. I look at the horror, sci-fi, thriller releases, pretty much. So I didn't know. But I wound up typing in the Doll Squad, and I found out that VS had it. So that was my first. I was like, okay, I got to get this. This is the Doll Squad. It's Ted V. Michaels and Mission Kill Fast, also Ted V. Michaels. So now I have 2 more Ted V. Michael films, and I want to get Astro Zombie, but that's a Kino Lorber film, so that doesn't really belong in this video, but that's definitely one. I'm looking forward to seeing this. I've not seen this, but I'm a fan of, like I said, Ted V. Michaels. I want to hear more what he has to say on special features, you know, like what it was like making the movie or whatever. So there's that. I like the cover, but that was my first purchase. I just plop it over there. Next one, I would have liked to. I'm not a slipcover person, but I would have liked to have gotten a slipcover for this, just because it looks kind of cool whenever I see it pictured. It's not a must-have for me, but yeah, it's a Joe Spinell and The Undertaker, and the cover is a casket, you know, shape around it, and I thought that looked kind of cool, but like I said, it does not. It's really not a selling point for me. I mean, if they have it, I'll grab it. But most of the stuff I got, in fact, only one movie here I got has a slipcover. This is a blind buy. I don't remember this movie at all, and I know it came out like in the late '80s, early '90s. But for some reason, I have no recollection of this movie, so this is basically a blind buy for me. Next up is a movie I wanted the first time. Well, no, this was the movie. I wanted this movie last Black Friday, but last Black Friday, I was kind of like, okay, well, I'll order just a set few of movies. And then when I got out of there, I'm like, oh, I forgot to order this. So I was hoping it would be around until I got to halfway to Black Friday sale. It still was around. I love the cover art on this. That is Blood Beat. Yeah, this is this is one I kind of remember. You know, not greatly. A lot of the stuff that they have is stuff that, you know, it never really made it to the DVD releases. You know, when DVD was fresh and new. A lot of the stuff they put out is like VHS, and I haven't watched VHS, you know, this kind of VHS horror since the 80s. So a lot of the stuff is, again, I've seen it, but it's new to me again. Next up, I definitely had to grab this. This one I do remember. So, this movie has a member of an acting family in it. His older brother is an actor. His father was an actor. His niece is an actor. In fact, his older brother is a actor, director, writer, producer. Probably one of the biggest names in the world. And the main character in this movie is played by Clint Howard. That's right. Younger brother to Ron Howard. Uncle to Bryce Dallas Howard. Son to Rance Howard, who did all the westerns back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, stuff like that, you know. The Ice Cream Man, now this one I do remember. Clint Howard plays one of the creepiest characters. This is such an interesting movie. In fact, this probably will be the first movie that I watch, just because I want to watch it again. I haven't seen it in forever. This movie used to be on cable all the time, and now it's not. So, but Ice Cream Man. I was kind of disappointed with the alternate artwork on this, because it's just, instead of it saying Ice Cream Man at the top, it says it at the bottom. It's basically the same picture. But there you go. Ice Cream Man. Now we slide into some Norman J. Warren stuff. Always like Norman J. Warren. It's another movie that I do remember, and so I grabbed Terror. This is another one I think the slipcover would look cool on, because the slipcover for Terror is a girl getting impaled by a spear through Scrabble letters that spell terror. I mean, I just thought that would look cool. I like this as compared to, well, hold on a second. Well, no, I mean, this does, so the alternate artwork is the alternate artwork on the DVD, and I can't decide. This is one I really not sure of. Which do you think is the better cover? Leave a comment in the, down below and tell me. I will honestly, tally the votes, and I'll flip it to whichever one it is. Because I can't make up my mind on that one. I think they both look kind of cool. But yeah, Terror. And then, like I said, the slipcover for this is like really cool. So it'd be like a third, kind of artwork for it. But yeah, one step beyond horror. Terror. Norman J. Warren. It's really basically Norman J. Warren kind of taking ideas from Italian horror, like giallo films, and saying, I can do that too. So, there you go, Terror. Next up is Dead Delilah. This is one that I've never heard of this movie. To be honest, I have Dominique is Dead. I don't have it. I don't have the Vinegar Syndrome version. I have a old copy that's on DVD, but I've never heard of Dear Dead Delilah. So this is a blind buy. This is one for the books. I'm definitely going to go into this one completely not aware, but I don't know. I just thought it sounded cool as a movie. It looks cool, and let's see what's the oh yeah. So there's the alternate artwork, and I'm just kind of whatever. I don't think I held that up there long enough. Let's do this right. There you go. That's the alternate artwork. I kind of like the artwork that it came with. This instead. Or should I say this instead? So yeah, that's a blind buy. So my first watch will be Ice Cream Man. My second watch will probably be Dear Dead Delilah. Like I said, it's a blind buy, so had to get this. Somewhere down the road, I knew I was going to have to buy this just because I remember this. I remember when this came out in like 86, 87, 88, somewhere in there. And I definitely wanted to see this again, and I haven't seen it in forever. And it's Blood Harvest. Tiny Tim is the clown right there, the mentally incapacitated brother of someone in this movie, and it's a bizarre movie. Here's one that I didn't care for the slipcover too. The slipcover for this is basically this, except the words Blood Harvest, are right side up. I'm like, whatever. That's Tiny Tim. Tiny Tim was famous for 15 minutes back in the day. He married a supermodel named Twiggy on the Johnny Carson show, or the Tonight Show. He sang Tiptoe Through the Tulips with a ukulele, and then fell into obscurity and showed up in a horror movie, like 20 years later? Almost. So, Blood Harvest. Okay, so we're going to get a little bit of a story here. This one I definitely had to pick up. This one came out last year at the halfway to Black Friday sale, and I didn't want to buy it then because if you buy it then, you don't get the sales price. You have to pay, full price or whatever. And so I'm like, okay, well, I will get it somewhere down the road. Then Black Friday came, and I forgot to grab it. So this time I'm like, okay. Then they had that convention sale, and I didn't get it then. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll grab it. I'll grab it this time, which is fine. So years ago, when I would hang out in Seattle a lot more back in the '90s, I'd go down there, hang out with a friend. We'd hit like a bunch of stores, and DVD was pretty much new. Do you guys remember the first thing you ever saw on DVD, whether you bought it or not? Because the first thing I ever saw was because of the place I walked into. I walked into a Border store, and the first thing I ever saw that was played on DVD, that because I wasn't collecting them at the time, was X-Men, and it was a scene where they show Wolverine's truck going through the snowy mountains, and I thought, wow, that is a clear picture. Wow. Mind-blowing, But so I'd go into Borders from time to time, and at the time that I was going in there this time, I just started buying, DVDs and whatnot, and went in there, and they would have this sale from every now and then. They would say, make your own box set. They'd give you a blank box, that held it. That would hold like 3 movies, and then you could put whatever 3 movies in there, and you'd have to pay like $21 or $28 or some arbitrary number, And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. So I was planning on doing this, and whenever I'd go in there, I'd always look at this one movie. I'm like, I need to get that. I need to get that because I remember watching this back in the day, back in '83, I believe it came out. I remember seeing this. I've always wanted a copy of this movie. By the time they had the 3 movie sale, and I went down there, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go down there. I'm going to grab this movie and a couple of others, throw them into a box, and pay the arbitrary number, And I went down there, and they always had this movie there, and then that one day it was gone, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to get back into Seattle for a while, so guess I didn't get that movie that time. Then after that, not long after that, my friend who was working in Seattle at the time, lost his job in Seattle, so there was no sense of going to Seattle to hang out with him. He lived somewhere else, and so I never really got back to that Borders to buy the movie. But the movie was, and is, Mountaintop Motel Massacre. It is now part of my collection. Thank God. Yes. Been wanting this movie for a long time. Didn't cost that much. VS has done awesome. I like this cover art, but the cover art I remember, I'm going to see if I can find it and put it up here, is this crazy looking old lady poking her head out of a doorway with a crazed look on it. And that's not this. It's not this, and it's not the alternate artwork, because the alternate artwork is just, I don't know. Yeah. So that's the alternate artwork. But the original artwork that I remember being on the DVD was more kind of like this, more comic booky looking, more cartoony looking. And she just kind of look on her face, I wish that was a choice, like there was some way to get like another cover art, but this is cool. This is the one that's going to stay. Don't really care for the other cover art, but Mountaintop Motel Massacre is now part of my collection. Thank God. We're down to 2. we're down to the one with the slipcover and the one without, and another one without. And the first one without is, and here's another blind buy. I'd never heard of this movie. For some reason, this one slipped me by way back in the day. But it has the lead singer of a band that I really like in it. That is Joey Belladonna, the lead singer of Anthrax. And the movie is Pledge Night. I'd never heard of this movie. I didn't know Joey Belladonna was ever in a movie, you know. Or a horror movie at that. So I picked this up just on a whim because I just want to see, you know, what the movie's like. It's basically a hazing movie, and there were quite a few of those movies back in the day. The Initiation, Pledges, Pledge Night, you know, I mean, so here we go. I don't really have a whole lot to say about this movie because I don't know a whole lot about this movie. Like I said, Joey Belladonna's in it. It's directed by Paul Ziller. But and I'm gonna flip the artwork on this one because this is one I do like the other artwork on. Hand coming out with toilet's one thing, but how cool is that? That paddle with the spikes on it. That will be the flip. So, and now we get down to the one with the slip. And that is Beyond the Door 3. Dun dun dun. They were down to like 100 and some odd copies of this. They had 0 copies of just the movie without the slip, and they had like 100 plus copies of it with the slip. So I'm like, okay, well, I have to grab it because I want it. Beyond the Door 3. So this is the slip, and it's really nice. It's raised. The lettering is raised. There's kind of like a smooth over her face. I'm trying to look at this. And her nipples stick out. Yeah. I don't know if there's a way to show it, but yeah, the nipples are... The back looks like this, which is really nice. This looks like almost looks like they just stuck a sticker there, you know? That type of thing. Like, okay, well, we'll just place the sticker there. It's glossy, it's slick. It's not that, but that's what it feels like. It's really nice. This is a nice slip. And then the movie, there we go, looks like that. And the alternate cover work for this is actually the alternate title, Amok Train, I believe it is. Oh. This is the one time that, yeah, Amok Train. The one time that they don't... There's the alternate artwork. Put that back. I don't have Behind the Door. I don't have Behind the Door 2. I do know that this movie doesn't really connect with the previous 2 movies. It's kind of like its own movie in itself, so if you watch it by itself, you're not really missing out on anything. You know, what I'm saying is you don't have to watch the other 2 movies to watch this movie. That's what I'm getting at. That's my Vinegar Syndrome pickups. Wow. This video ran long. 24 minutes. I don't do 24-minute videos because I like to get through stuff real quick. But there's so much here, so much I want to talk about, and they're just, you know, show you and have little stories here and there that I have to throw out there. So it ran a little bit longer. Do me a favor. Like, subscribe, share, and comment. I always want to know what you have to say. When you do subscribe, hit that bell, ding that bell, and ring that bell. That way you'll know anytime I put something new up. As always, I am the 13th Wolfman, and I am on the prowl.